Hello Pharma guys, welcome to our channel Easy Learn Pharma. So today I am going to discuss about the first chapter of the first unit of Pharmaceutics. Okay, this chapter both for B Pharmacy and D.Pharm students. So what is that chapter? That chapter is historical background and development of profession of pharmacy. Okay. That means what is the history behind the successful and development of pharmacy profession in India. Okay, so in this chapter I am going to discuss about when and how did pharmacy profession emerge in India? How did the pharmacy profession develop? And who played a major role at that time? Clear? So one by one I will discuss. So first of all, so we'll discuss the entire history by dividing into two parts so that you can easily understand what I am telling regarding the historical background of pharmacy profession. So that's why I am dividing into two. Before independence what happened and after independence what will happen. Okay. So before independence, what was the stages of the pharmacy background? Many years ago, okay, all of you know, many years ago, people used Ayurvedic medicine for various health purposes. But due to lack of experiment, people switched from Ayurvedic to allopathic medicine. So the first allopathic system of medicine was introduced in India during the British rule. Okay, in that time, our country were ruled by the Britishers. And that medicine, okay, those allopathy system of medicine was introduced in India during the British rule. That medicine only meant for ruling class family. What do you mean by ruling class? Ruling class means those people under the party politics or those people controls the society. Only that type of people use the allopathic system of medicine, not for all. Okay, and in the beginning, the medicine were imported from Europe. In the beginning, the medicine were imported from Europe. Later, they manufactured in India. In 1901, the first pharmaceutical works was established at Calcutta. So, what do you mean, or what is the name of the pharmaceutical work? That name of the pharmaceutical work is Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceutical Works. The Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceutical Works was established in 1901 at Calcutta by Acharya P.C. Roy. Okay, then in 1903, okay, then 1903, a small factory was established at Parel under the Bombay by Professor T.K. Gujar. Then 1907, again another pharmaceutical works, that's name is Alembic Chemical Works, that name is Alembic Chemical Works was established at Baroda by Professor T.K. Gujar. Okay, then after that, the First World War was happened. Okay, after that, the First World War was happened from 19 from 1914 to 1920. Okay, so due to First World War, our country faced so many problems. Basically, it affects to the pharmaceutical field. That means the pharmaceutical manufacturing company, and those medicines were manufactured in India, and those medicines import from the other country. All the medicine were stopped. Okay, so due to First World War, okay, due to First World War, import of drugs were stopped and also manufacturing of drugs were stopped. Clear? And the import of drugs were resumed after the war. Okay, import of drugs were resumed after the war. But when the First World War was happened in that time, basically it affects to the rules and regulation on the those medicine were imported or those medicine were manufactured in India. So in that time, after the war, the import of drugs were resumed. But in the absence of any restriction, the foreign manufacturing company took the advantage of that situation and dumped the inferior quality of medicine to India. Okay, so after the war, again the import of drugs were resumed. Okay, but the rules and regulations are not maintained. So in that time, in the absence of any restriction, on the quality of drugs, in that time the foreign manufacturing company took the advantage of that situation and dumped the improved quality of medicine to India. Clear? So that's why our country again faced so many problems. That's why the government of India was appointed a committee. That committee name is Drugs Inquiry Committee. So what is the main purpose of this committee? The main purpose of this committee to see the problems, okay, the main purpose of this committee to see the problems of pharmacy in India. Okay, so after faced so many problems, the government of India was appointed a committee under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra, 11th August 1930. Okay, 1930 11th August, the government of India was appointed a committee. So what is that name? That name is Drugs Inquiry Committee. What is the name? That name is Drugs Inquiry Committee under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra. So what is the role of this committee, or what is the main purpose of this committee? The main purpose of this committee to see the problems of pharmacy in India. Here, after that, in 1931, a report was published, and in this report clearly mentioned there is no any specialization profession in pharmacy. Okay, and just after the publication of this report, a person who's initiated and started the first pharmaceutical education at the university level in Banaras Hindu University. Okay, so who is this the person? This person name is Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop. Okay, so after faced so many problems, listen carefully what I am telling, because in your exam paper the short note will be arise regarding the drugs inquiry committee. Short note on drugs inquiry committee. So after faced so many problems, the government of India was appointed a committee under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra on 11th August 1913. Okay, so what is the name of this committee? The name of the committee is Drug Inquiry Committee or Drugs Inquiry Committee. So what is the main purpose of this committee? The main purpose of this committee to see the problems of pharmacy in India. Okay, then after that, in 1931, okay, in 1931, a report was published. In this report, clearly mentioned there is no any specialization profession in pharmacy. Okay, and just after the publication of this report, a person who's initiated and started the first pharmaceutical education at the university level in Banaras Hindu University. So who is the person? That person name is Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop. So that's why the Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop is a father of Indian pharmacy education. So one short question will be arise. So who is the father of Indian pharmacy education? Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop is the Indian pharmacy education. Okay. So in 1935, okay, in 1935, United Province Pharmaceutical Association was established, and after that, this United States or this United Province Pharmaceutical Association was converted into Indian Pharmaceutical Association, that is IPA. Okay, so in 1935, United Province Pharmaceutical Association was established, and later is converted into the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, that is IPA. Okay, and then in 1939, okay, in 1939, the Professor Mahadev Scrop established or started the first Indian Journal of Pharmacy. Okay, in 1939, Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop started the first Indian Journal of Pharmacy. So, what do you mean by journal, or what do you mean by Indian Journal of Pharmacy? Now, who learned in higher study in that time, definitely you should publish a review article or a research paper. Okay, and that review paper and that research paper based on a particular topic, and that paper you have to publish under a journal, and that journal first published by the and that journal first started by the Professor Mahadev Lal Scrop in 1939. Okay, and then in 1940, the first All India Pharmaceutical Congress Association was established. Okay, in 1940, All India Pharmaceutical Congress Association was established. Okay, so what is the main reason, or what is the main purpose of the All India Pharmaceutical Congress Association? The main purpose of the All India Pharmaceutical Association, sorry, All India Congress Association is the pharmaceutical conference held, or the pharmaceutical conference started. Okay, so what is the main purpose of the pharmaceutical conference held? That means to publicize the pharmacy as a whole. Okay, all the students visit to other institution and attend some seminar or attend some conference. So what is the main purpose of these institutions to start or to start the conference because their advertisement. That's why the All India Pharmaceutical Congress Association started the pharmaceutical conference, and what is the role of the or what is the importance of the pharmaceutical conference, and to publicize the pharmacy as a whole. Okay, and in 1940, the government brought drugs bill. Okay, in 1940, the government brought the drugs bill. So, what is the main purpose of the drugs bill, or why the government brought to regulate the import, manufacture, sale, and distribution of drugs in British India? Okay, because after World War or after the First World War, so many problems will be arised regarding the pharmaceutical industry or regarding the pharmaceutical field. Okay, in that time, some of the manufacturing company manufacture the spurious quality of drugs and distribution to the spurious quality of drugs and sell the spurious quality of drugs. That means bad quality of drugs they will be manufactured. Okay, that's why to regulate such type of spurious or to regulate such type of problems. That's why the government brought 1940. In 1940, the government brought the drugs bill. So why? To regulate the import, manufacture, sale, and distribution of drugs in British India. Okay, this bill was finally adopted as the Drugs Act on 1940. Drugs Act of 1940. Clear? And after that, 1945, the drugs rule under the Drugs Act was established. Okay, that means all of you know, the students, first of all, you should know what do you mean by bill, what do you mean by act, and what do you mean by bill, what do you mean by act, and what do you mean by rules. Okay, bill means proposal. Okay, bill means bill means proposal. That means if you want to create or if you want to make a law, then first you have to give the proposal at the parliament. Okay, and in this proposal you have to mention regarding the advantage or disadvantage of this suitable for society or not. So all the information regarding the advantage or disadvantage of this proposal mentioned in this proposal. Okay, after that it will be accepted, and after accepted it is converted into the act, that is Drugs Act. Okay, and after converting to the act to maintain or to regulate such type of act, so many rules and regulation will be developed. Clear? So why in this case, to regulate the import, manufacture, sale, and distribution of drugs in British India, that's why the government brought the drugs bill, and in that time first the government give the proposal to the parliament, and after accepted it is converted into the Drugs Act of 1940. Then to regulate such type of act, the rules and regulation will be developed. Clear? And 1941, the first Drugs and Drugs Technical Advisory Board under this act was constituted. Okay, some such question will be arise. What is the full form of DTAB? Drugs Technical Advisory Board. Okay, the Drugs Technical Advisory Board was constituted in 1941. Clear? And then 1945. Okay, 1945, under the act, under this act, that means 19 Drugs Act of 1940. Under this act in 1945, it covers cosmetic, and Ayurveda, homeopathy medicine in some respects. Okay, under this act, so which act? And Drugs Act of 1940. Under this act in 1945, it covers cosmetic, Ayurvedic, and homeopathic medicines. Okay, and then in 1945 again the government brought pharmacy bill. Okay, so what is the main purpose of the pharmacy bill? Why the government brought the pharmacy bill at 1945? Why? What is the reason behind this? To standardize the pharmacy education in India. Okay, to standardize the pharmacy education in India. Then 1946, the Indian Pharmacopoeia list was published under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra. It contains the list of drugs used in India at that time. which are not included in British Pharmacopoeia. This part you have to easily understand when I am going to discuss about the Indian Pharmacopoeia. Clear? Then 1948. 1948 Pharmacy Act was published. So what is the role or what is the importance of the Pharmacy Act? The most important part of the Pharmacy Act to regulate the pharmacy profession and education in India. Okay, so all of you listen carefully. In which year the Pharmacy Act was established? 1948. So 1948 the Pharmacy Act was established. Okay, so what is the role of the Pharmacy Act? To regulate the pharmacy profession and education in India. And next thing is 1948 the Pharmacopoeia Committee. Okay, the Pharmacopoeia Committee was established under the chairmanship of late Dr. B.N. Ghosh. Clear? Then 1949. 1949 the Pharmacy Council of India, that is PCI, was established under the Pharmacy Act of 1948. Okay, so 1948 the Pharmacy Act was established. Under this act 1949 the Pharmacy Council of India was established. So in the short form you can say that is the PCI. So all of you know nowadays the PCI regulates the pharmacy profession and education in India. So when you have to see the syllabus, okay, so before in the first paragraph clearly mentioned this syllabus is regulated by the PCI. That means Pharmacy Council of India regulated your syllabus. Okay, and after completing a B.Pharm or after completing a D.Pharm, when you have to getting the certificate, in that time you have to clear, in that time you have to mark in the certificate that is clearly mentioned this is under the Pharmacy Act of 1948. Clear? And next in 1954 the drugs and magic remedies, was established. Okay, 1954 the Drugs and Magic Remedies Act was established. So what is the reason behind the Drugs and Magic Remedies, or what is the importance of Drugs and Magic Remedies Act was established? Okay, that I'm giving one example so that you can easily understand. Okay, suppose एमती किसी product अच्छी जो product हमें जानी चाहिए कि such type of product cannot cure the such type of disease, but if in that case the company says कि such type of medicine cure the such type of disease, okay, so definitely in that time it is one type of offense. Okay, and in that time to prevent such type of advertisement, or to prevent such type of misleading advertisement, or to restrict such type of advertisement, the government of India established a act that is the Drugs and Magic Remedies Act. Okay, this act restrict the misleading advertisement or objectionable advertisement. Clear? And next one is 1955. Okay, the medicinal in 1955 the Medicinal and Toilet Preparation Act was established. Okay, so what do you mean, or what is the importance of Medicinal and Toilet Preparation Act? That means to enforce the uniform tax of all states for alcohol products. Okay, to enforce uniform tax for all the states for alcohol products. That's why the Medicinal Toilet Preparation Act was constituted or established. Clear? And in 1955 the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published. Okay, 1955. And then in 1985 Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act has been enacted to protect the society from the dangers of addictive drugs. Okay, so to prevent the addictive drugs, or to protect the society from the addictive drugs, that's why the government of India constituted or established a act that's name is Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act. It was established in 1985. Clear? Thank you. Clear? So the pharmacopoeia words is derived from the two Greek word. One is pharmakon and poia. Clear? And pharmakon means drugs or medicine, and poia means to make. So when I will combine the two meaning of this Greek word, in that time a sentence will become formula or standards required to make the drug or medicine. Okay, that means pharmakon means drugs or medicine, poia means to make. That means to make the drug or medicine, what are the standards or what are the formulas are required. So all the formulas or all the standards are mentioned in the pharmacopoeia. That means before preparation of the any type of medicine, so first you have to go through the pharmacopoeia. Okay, so why do we mean pharmacopoeia? Now pharmacopoeia is a government official book or encyclopedia. So Pharmacopoeia is a government official book or encyclopedia that describes the standard of drugs, their formula, and methods, tests for identification, efficacy, potency to be maintained strictly. Okay, so what do you mean by pharmacopoeia? Now, pharmacopoeia is a government official book or encyclopedia. So why is it? So why it is a government official book? Now, because it is authorized by the government. So that's why it is a government official book or encyclopedia. Okay, so it which describes the standard of drugs, their formula. So standard of drugs means what? That means a particular standards are there. So according to the standards, or you have to follow such type of standards, then you have to prepare the such type of medicine. Okay, so that describes the standard of drugs, their formula, their methods, test for identification, efficacy, potency to be maintained strictly. Okay, that means their formula, the formula regarding the drugs, and in which method you have to prepare the such type of medicine. Okay, and test for identification. That means which type of identification test or which type of test is required to identify such type of drugs, and after preparation the medicine, how to identify whether it is paracetamol or whether it is pantoprazole. So there are so many identification tests are present inside the pharmacopoeia. So before preparation the any type of medicine, you have to follow the pharmacopoeia. Clear? Efficacy and potency. What is the potential and what is the therapeutic action of the drug? All the information mentioned in the pharmacopoeia. So before preparation any type of medicine, you have to go through the pharmacopoeia. Clear? And next one is the monograph. What do you mean by monograph? Monograph means what? Now monograph means it is a collection of detailed information on a particular drug. It is a collection of detailed information on a particular drug. In the pharmacopoeia, you have to collect the information regarding all the drugs. That pharmacopoeia part already I had discussed in another video. So please go through this video. Okay. Next one is importance of pharmacopoeia. What is the importance of the pharmacopoeia? Why the pharmacopoeia you have to use before preparation of any type of medicine? And to maintain uniformity and controls the standard of drugs available in the market. Okay, to maintain the uniformity and control the standard of drugs available in the market. The माने होउछि मार्केट रे तो मान समस्त जानि तो मार्केट रे हजार हजार टाइप रो paracetamol drug available अछि. Okay, so if you don't want to follow the pharmacopoeia and you have to prepare the you have to prepare the paracetamol tablet at your own procedure, definitely all the paracetamol tablets shows the different action. Okay, so that's why to maintain the uniformity action, to maintain the uniformity therapeutic action, you have to follow the pharmacopoeia. That means all the manufacturing company before manufacturing the paracetamol tablet, they have to follow the pharmacopoeia to maintain the uniformity and avoid adulteration. So what do you mean by adulteration? Adulteration means that is add some foreign particles. Okay, so when you have to prepare the paracetamol tablet, in that you have to follow the pharmacopoeia. That's why it prevents the adulteration. That means when you have to prepare the paracetamol tablet, in that time which type of excipients you have to use for the preparation of paracetamol tablet, and all the excipients are clearly mentioned in the pharmacopoeia. So in that time there is no any adulteration or no any foreign particles add in the preparation of paracetamol tablet. Okay, so when you have to follow the pharmacopoeia before preparation of any type of paracetamol tablet, definitely it avoid the adulteration drug. Okay, complete information of the drugs such as their dosage form, effects and direction of use. Okay, medicine you have to prepare. Okay, so their dosage form, that may be solid dosage form, that may be liquid dosage form, that may be semi-solid dosage form. What is the dosage form of the medicine or of the drug, and their effects, their direction, how to use. Clear? All the information having in the pharmacopoeia. Okay, and reference for research laboratory and pharma industry and academic institutions. Okay, now the students, when you have to prepare any type of experiment on your practical lab, in that time definitely will be marked. In that time you have to clearly mention this official formula. Suppose you have to prepare the suppose you have to prepare the simple syrup. In the right hand side you have to mention IP. Why? Now because the simple syrup, or because the official formula of simple syrup you have to collect from the Indian Pharmacopoeia. Okay, that means when you have to prepare the simple syrup, or when you have to prepare the paracetamol syrup, in that time you have to follow the Indian Pharmacopoeia. And according to the Indian Pharmacopoeia, you have to collect the official formula from the Indian Pharmacopoeia. Here, then you have to prepare the paracetamol syrup or simple syrup. Okay, and research laboratory. Samasta mark kariଥିବ, each and every district re ଗୋଟେ test the medicines, those medicine available in the market. Okay, after available in the market or after launched in the market, the uh, drug controller or the drugs inspector take the sample, take the medicine from the medicine store and give the sample to the it is pure or not. Okay, so that's why in that time the research laboratory also follow the pharmacopoeia before testing the any type of medicine. Clear? Next, classification of pharmacopoeia. Okay, so before classification of pharmacopoeia, first of all you should know what do you mean by drug compendia. Drug compendia means what? Drug compendia means it is the concise collection of all the drug information. Okay, concise collection of all the drug information, that is called known as drug compendia. So kahinki ame drug compendia kahuche na, because ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ସୋର୍ସ ପାଇଲେ କି ଏଇ ସବୁ ଡ୍ରଗ ର ଏଇ ସବୁ ଥେରାପିଟିକ ଆକ୍ସନ, ଏଇ ସବୁ ୟୁଜ, ତାର ପ୍ରପର ୟୁଜ, ତାର ଆକ୍ସନ ସବୁ ଅଛି ବୋଲି, ତ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ କଲେକ୍ଟ ଅଲ୍ ଦ ଡ୍ରଗ, okay, in a particular place. So that is the drug compendia. Okay, after that, according to the properties, you have to classify it into two parts. Okay, one is official compendia, another one is the non-official compendia. That means the drug compendia are classified into two types. One is official compendia, another one is the non-official compendia. Okay, so what do you mean by official compendia? Now, official compendia is the compilation of drugs and other related substances. These books are prepared under the authority of the government of the respective countries. Okay, and what do you mean by official compendia? Now, those books under the official compendia, that books authorized by the government of India. Clear? So, in the official compendia, what are the pharmacopoeia was present? Now, that example is Indian Pharmacopoeia, British Pharmacopoeia, United States of Pharmacopoeia, British Pharmacopoeia Codex, National Formulary. Okay, so these are the pharmacopoeia under the official compendia. Under the official compendia, clear? And the next one is non-official compendia. Okay, so what do you mean by non-official compendia, or what do you mean by non-official compendia? The book other than the official compendia. Okay, it is the used as a secondary reference. It is used as a secondary reference of drugs and other related substances. Okay, if you are not find any type of information on the official compendia, in that time you can choose, or in that time you can use the non-official compendia. Okay, so that's why the non-official compendia used as a secondary reference sources of the drugs and other related substances. Okay, the example is Merck index. Okay, that is extra pharmacopoeia and United States of dispensary. Clear? So that is the classification of pharmacopoeia according to the drug compendia. Clear? And next one is the Indian Pharmacopoeia. So first I will discuss regarding the Indian Pharmacopoeia. So all of you know, in 1955, the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was established with volume 1 under the chairmanship of Dr. B.N. Ghosh, and the supplement was published and in 1960. Clear? So In 1955, the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was established with one volume, তার গোটে ভলিউম আসছিল, under the chairmanship of Dr. V.N. Ghosh, and the supplement of the first edition was published in 1960. So in that case, first of all, you should know what do you mean by supplements. Supplements means what? Because after publication of the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia, again you have to collect some information regarding the such type of drugs. That means in the first Indian Pharmacopoeia, all of you know what do you mean by Pharmacopoeia? Now, Pharmacopoeia is a government official book which describes the standard of drugs, their formula, their name, their chemical name, their identification test. So, all of the information regarding the drugs you have to present. Okay, all the information regarding the drugs present inside the Pharmacopoeia. Okay, so in the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with one volume, and after published the one volume, or after published the first volume, again those माने फर्स्ट वॉल्यूम रे जहाँ भी किसी ड्रग प्रेजेंट थिला से सेम ड्रग रो आमे आउ किसी इंफॉर्मेशन पाइले ओके सो some information you have to collect such type of drugs, those drugs published under the first edition, and okay, after publish the first edition, again you have to collect and again you have to find out some information regarding the such type of drugs. So that's why in that time you have to publish as a supplement. Okay, next in 1966, the second edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with one volume under the chairmanship of Dr. Dr. B. Mukherjee, and the supplement, the second Indian Pharmacopoeia was published in 1975. Okay, 1966, second edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with one volume under the chairmanship of Dr. B. Mukherjee, and the supplement was published 1975. तार supplement 1975 रे आस्थिला. Then in 1985, the third edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with two volumes. Okay, under the chairmanship of Dr. Nityananda, and two addendum was published in 1989 and 1991. तो आमे भी टिके अगर जानिले कि सप्लीमेंट कौन ऑलरेडी से ड्रग और इनफॉरमेशन ऑलरेडी पब्लिश हे सारी छे बट से ड्रग और हम आउ किछि जदि एक्स्ट्रा इनफॉरमेशन पाइले दैट टाइप ऑफ इनफॉरमेशन यू हैव टू पब्लिश्ड इन द सप्लीमेंट ओके बट व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय addendum ना आफ्टर पब्लिश्ड द फर्स्ट part or the first pharmacopoeia again you have to collect the different type of drugs of information माने थरे गोटे फार्माकोपिया तम माने थरे गोटे फार्माकोपिया पब्लिश हे सरला परे अगेन आउ किछि ड्रग अगेन आउ किछि न्यू ड्रग और इंफॉर्मेशन हमें पाइले एंड दैट न्यू ड्रग you have to publish as addendum. So what do you mean by addendum? Now if you find a new drug information and that new drug information you have to publish as a addendum. Okay, so next one is 1966. In 1966, the fourth edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with two volumes under the chairmanship of Dr. Nityananda, and addendum in 2000, and the vet supplement in 2000 for veterinary products, addendum in 2002. Okay, next on 2007, the fifth edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with three volumes under the chairmanship of Mr. Naresh Dayal, and the addendum was published 2008. Then 2010, the sixth edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with three volumes, and the addendum was published 2012 under the chairmanship of Mr. K. Sujata Rao. Clear? And in next 2014, the seventh edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with fourth volume, and the addendum was published with 15th and 16th under the chairmanship of Sri Kesav Desiraju. Okay, And finally, in on 2018, the 8th edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published with 4th volume, and the addendum was published in 2019-2021 under the chairmanship of Sri C.K. Mishra. Clear? So that is the simple arrangement of Indian Pharmacopoeia, so that you can easily understand what I am telling regarding the Indian Pharmacopoeia. The first edition was published 1955 with volume 1, and the addendum or supplement, and the supplement was published in 1916. Then the second edition was published in 1966 with one volume, okay, and followed by the supplement 1975. Third edition was published in 1985 with two volume, okay, followed by its addendum 1989 and 1991. Then fourth edition was published 1966 with two volume, okay, and the addendum 2000, supplement also 2000, and the addendum another addendum 2002. And the fifth edition was published 2007 with three volume, followed by its addendum 2008. And the sixth edition was published 2010 with three volume, addendum 2012. And the seventh edition was published 2014 with four volume, followed by its addendum 2015 and 16. Okay, and last eighth edition was published 2018 with fourth volume, and addendum 2019 and 2021. Okay, so that is all about the historical background on pharmacy profession in India, and pharmacopoeia, monograph, importance of pharmacopoeia, and classification of pharmacopoeia, and Indian pharmacopoeia. Clear? Thank you very much, my students.